Welcome to our reflection on John 1 verses 19 to 28, a passage that delves into the enigmatic figure of John the Baptist and his unique role in the unfolding drama of salvation. John the Baptist, a powerful and prophetic voice, emerged from the wilderness, calling people to repentance and preparing the way for the coming of the Messiah. His ministry, though short-lived, was profound and impactful. Intrigued by this charismatic figure, the Jewish authorities sent priests and Levites to question him. "Who are you?" they demanded. John, with humility and clarity, confessed, "I am not the Christ." He also denied being Elijah or the prophet, figures long awaited by the Jewish people. Instead of seeking personal glory, John pointed beyond himself. He declared, "I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord," as Isaiah the prophet said. This resonated with the ancient prophecies of Isaiah, preparing the people for the coming of the Messiah. Owen understood his role as a forerunner, a voice crying out in the wilderness to prepare the hearts and minds of the people for the arrival of the one who was to come. He saw himself as a humble servant, paving the way for a greater purpose. When questioned about his authority to baptize, John humbly acknowledged that his ministry was secondary. He declared, "I baptize with water, but among you stands one whom you do not recognize, the one who is coming after me, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to untie." Thank you for joining us today. For more reflections on the gospel, please subscribe to our channel Daily Dose of Divine, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you and God bless.
From the Gospel according to John, John 1 verses 19 to 28, this is the testimony of John, when the Jews from Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to him, to ask him, "Who are you?" He admitted and did not deny it, but admitted, "I am not the Christ." So they asked him, "What are you then? Are you Elijah?" And he said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." So they said to him, "Who are you, so we can give an answer to those who sent us? What do you have to say for yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying out in the desert, make straight the way of the Lord," as Isaiah the prophet said. Some Pharisees were also sent. They asked him, "Why then do you baptize, if you are not the Christ or Elijah or the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water, but there is one among you whom you do not recognize, the one who is coming after me, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to untie." This happened in Bethany across the Jordan, where John was baptizing.
All right, listener, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Today we're, heading out to the wilderness.
Oh, yeah.
Into the desert.
Okay.
And we are tackling a passage in the Gospel of John that features this really intriguing figure, John the Baptist.
Yeah.
Now, if you've spent any time at all kind of in and around the Gospels,
Right.
you're probably familiar, at least on a surface level, with the story of John the Baptist.
Yeah, he's the guy in the camel hair.
Right.
Yeah, and eating the locusts and honey.
Yeah, but we're going to dig a little deeper, I think, and maybe uncover some fascinating details that will shift your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, when I look at this passage, it's like we're reading one of those mystery novels.
Okay.
Where the detective's laying out all these clues but holding back the big reveal.
Nope,
And
no.
John, he's dropping all these hints about someone even greater who's coming.
Okay.
It's like he's saying, "I'm not the main event.
I'm just the opening act.
Get ready for the headliner."
All right, so to set the scene,
Yeah.
we find John hanging out in the desert, baptizing people.
Yeah.
And right away, people are curious.
Yeah, they're sending delegations.
Yeah, they're sending these groups of people to figure out, who is this guy? What's his deal?
It's like a scene from a courtroom drama.
Okay.
John's in the hot seat and he's getting grilled.
Uh-oh.
Are you the Messiah? Are you Elijah? Are you the prophet? And he shoots down every single one.
Right, like boom, boom, boom. Nope, not me. Nope, not me. Nope, not me.
And it creates all this suspense.
Yeah, so then it's like, okay, if you're not any of those heavy hitters, then who are you?
Right.
And then he drops this line
Yeah.
about being a voice crying out in the wilderness.
That's it.
Now, that sounds familiar.
It's straight from the prophet Isaiah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 3.
Oh, so it's not just a clever reference.
No, it's so much more than that.
Okay.
You see prophets in those days.
Right.
They weren't like fortune tellers or something.
Right.
They were messengers.
Right.
Their job was to prepare the people for what God was about to do.
Hmm.
So when John uses these words, he's putting himself in that line.
He's stepping into that lineage.
Exactly.
Okay, so he's setting the stage, but for what?
That's the million-dollar question.
Now let's talk about baptism for a minute.
Yeah.
Seems pretty straightforward, right?
It's all surface. Yeah, just a quick dip in the river.
Yeah, but I'm hearing that it was a bit controversial back then.
Oh, yeah, incredibly so.
Okay.
You got to understand, ritual purity was everything in Jewish tradition.
Okay.
Like, we're talking an elaborate system of cleansing rituals, baths, washings, all designed to make you ritually pure before you could even approach God.
So it's not just about being physically clean.
No, it's about this whole spiritual state of being.
So how does John's baptism kind of rock the boat?
Well, his baptism wasn't about outward cleanliness. It was about an inward change of heart.
Okay.
Repentance, a complete turning away from sin.
Right.
John was basically saying that everyone, even the most devout, needed this kind of spiritual reset.
Oh, so I bet that ruffled some feathers, especially among the religious elite.
You can bet on it. They were like, who is this guy to tell us we need cleansing?
Yeah, and then it leads to this really pivotal moment
Yeah.
where the Pharisees confront John.
Oh, boy.
They're like, why are you baptizing if you're not the Messiah or Elijah or the prophet?
It's a big three.
Yeah, and his answer is crucial.
It is.
He says someone greater is coming, someone he's not even worthy to untie the sandals of.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And what strikes me is his radical humility.
Yeah, he's not making this about himself at all.
Not at all. He's pointing to someone far beyond himself.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is like a detective story.
Right.
We've got clues,
Mhm.
we've got this mysterious figure.
And everyone's on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, it's like the text is daring us to figure out who John's talking about.
That's exactly it. And the passage never explicitly names this figure.
It just leaves you hanging.
It builds anticipation. Hey, imagine hearing this for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be dying to know who this extraordinary person could be.
Right.
And that's the genius of the storytelling.
Yeah, and then there's this detail that I find intriguing.
Yeah.
The location, Bethany across the Jordan. Why mention that?
Good question. Some scholars think it links John to the prophet Elijah,
Oh, okay.
who also crossed the Jordan. It adds another layer of symbolism, connecting John to this legacy of powerful figures who paved the way for God's work.
Wow, so we've got a mystery figure proclaiming someone even greater is coming.
Yep.
Knowing that, does it change how we read this passage?
It should.
Are we so focused on John that we miss the clues pointing to the real focus of the story?
You know, that's the question, isn't it? It invites us to look beyond the surface and see the bigger picture that's unfolding.
So, listener, we're left to ponder.
If John isn't the main event, then who is? And what clues are we missing that might point us in the right direction?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.
We'll see you in the wilderness.
All right.
Take care. Bye.